ever gonna do. And I love my family more than any.
In a match that was less about titles and more about pride, legacy, and personal vengeance, Becky Lynch emerged victorious, but barely, after a brutal, emotionally charged war with the returning Nikki Bella. The bout, which headlined this week's episode of WWE Raw, saw Lynch retain her Women's Intercontinental Championship, but the outcome was far from clean, and the damage far from temporary. This wasn't just a championship defense. It was a grudge match soaked in history, featuring two of the most iconic and influential women in WWE history, one representing the modern era's unapologetic rebellion, and the other the trailblazing face of a revolution that laid the foundation. Let's break it all down, from the history to the match, to what this means for the future of WWE's evolving women's division. A long time coming, the history between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. To fully appreciate the gravity of this match, fans must look back at the tangled history between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella, two women who helped carry the torch during one of the most pivotal transitions in WWE women's wrestling. Nikki Bella, once the centerpiece of the Divas era, evolved into a record-setting Divas champion who fought to be seen as more than a reality TV star or a model-turned wrestler. Her 301-day reign as Divas champion and subsequent in-ring evolution solidified her legacy as a legitimate competitor and key figure in the movement that demanded more for female athletes. Becky Lynch, meanwhile, was one of the four horsewomen who tore down the very walls Nikki helped build. As the Man, Becky became the face of the women's evolution, a WrestleMania main eventer, and a voice for defiance and revolution. She didn't just want respect, she demanded it, and took it by force. The two paths rarely crossed in meaningful ways during their respective peaks, but the mutual respect was always mixed with subtle tension. The match, a brawl for the ages. The bell rang to deafening cheers from the sold-out crowd in Atlanta's State Farm Arena. The electricity in the air was undeniable. Fans understood that they weren't just about to witness a standard title match. They were about to witness a clash of eras. From the outset, Becky Lynch brought her signature aggression. She charged Nikki with a flurry of strikes, driving her into the corner with forearms and knees, showing that this was going to be anything but technical. Nikki responded with her trademark resilience, slowing Becky's momentum with a thunderous spinebuster and targeting her opponent's lower back throughout the bout. Midway through the match, the pace shifted. Nikki pulled out a springboard enziguri, a move she hadn't used since before her 2019 retirement, and followed it up with a devastating Alabama slam onto the ring apron. Lynch writhed in pain, clutching her back, but refused to quit. The physicality escalated quickly. Kendo sticks, steel chairs, and even a table were introduced after a referee bump removed any authority from the match for several chaotic minutes. The brutality culminated in Nikki attempting her original finisher, the rack attack, onto a steel chair. But Becky countered in midair, locking in the disarm her and screaming with rage as she torqued Nikki's shoulder. Aftermath: respect or rivalry? What happened after the match may be just as significant as what happened during it. As Becky was handed her title and raised her arm in triumph, Nikki slowly rose to her feet. There was a long pause, the kind only wrestling can deliver. Tension filled the arena. Would Nikki attack? Would Becky offer a handshake? Instead, Nikki nodded. No handshake. No hug. Just a quiet, tired nod of respect. Becky returned the gesture. Then Nikki rolled out of the ring, leaving Becky in the spotlight. It was a passing of the torch, but not a surrender. Nikki had reminded the world that she could still hang with the best. And Becky had proven she wasn't just riding the momentum of the current era. She was the moment. What this means for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. When WWE introduced the Women's Intercontinental Championship, many questioned its purpose. Was it just a secondary belt to pad out TV time? Or would it be given the prestige and significance it deserved? This match answered that question emphatically. Becky Lynch's defense against a name as big as Nikki Bella legitimizes the title in ways few matches could. It showed that this championship wasn't just another prop. It was worth fighting for, and not just with wrestling, but with blood, sweat, and emotional weight. If WWE continues booking matches of this caliber for the title, it has the potential to be the workhorse championship of the women's division, much like the Intercontinental title was for legends like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. What's next? Backstage reports indicate that Nikki Bella's return is not just a one-off. She's rumored to have signed a short-term deal with WWE that could see her featured on multiple episodes of Raw and SmackDown heading into Survivor Series. Whether she's targeting the title again or pursuing a personal grudge with someone else remains to be seen. Becky, meanwhile, will likely continue her reign with fire. With rising stars like Zoe Stark, Io Sky, and Jade Cargill all circling the title picture, she won't have much time to rest. In fact, as Becky made her way up the ramp, staring into the hard cam with a mixture of pain and pride, the Tron lit up with a cryptic message. The Empress returns. Could Asuka be Becky's next challenger? Stay informed, stay updated, hit that subscribe button.